Thank you, Jim. It wasn't until this week I learned that, like many of you maybe, uh, know a dentist now who plays the saxophone. I don't know but one, but I'm really impressed with his talent. So, appreciate him sharing it with us. Um, I don't know if many of you woke up like I did this morning or not, but to the news that the president was in Israel. Now he's on his way to Egypt, and he's bringing world leaders together. I wish when heard that announcement, I wish I'd have counted them as they did that, but I didn't. But I think all of you, probably like me, know that these are special times that we're living in. And I really didn't know that all this was going to happen on the day that I would be speaking. So what I have is not directly as a result of that, but I think it will fit in pretty good with what's going on in the world today. But before I go into my presentation, I'd like to tell you, many of you I haven't had a chance to meet this week. Some of you I know very well. Jamie, I hope we're going to have a David and Goliath moment in the next year. So I hope that as we came to the rescue for the Parkersburg, West Virginia group and kept this feast site going, I hope that we'll be able to do the same thing now, between now and next year. I had planned to share just a little bit with you before I get into my presentation, because maybe it'll help you understand why I'm so interested in this, I guess. But I was baptized into the Baptist church at the age of 14. I was baptized into CGI, ironically, on April 1st, 1995. Nothing that I arranged, but at the time I wondered if I was April Fool or not. But anyway, it turned out to be a very good decision. I have been blessed, and I've shared with some of you, but many of you I haven't. I've been blessed in on the 10th anniversary, ironically, of 9/11. I was blessed to be selected to go on an archaeological dig in Jerusalem under the Temple Mount with a group called Wyatt Archaeological Research. I had kept up with their work and was interested in it, and had no idea I'd be able to go, but I was able to go, and it was a great experience for me. And when I see pictures like this, I mean, I've been there and seen it in the flesh, and you can't, I don't know how many of you have been to Israel, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. It's a special place. And to watch the TV this morning made it even more special. This is my 30th Feast of Tabernacles. Time really flies when you're having fun. But, during that time, I've met a lot of good people in the church, and many of them are here today. But with that, a little background on me. I wanted you to know that there's a lot of things you could talk about Jerusalem and Israel, and I had the privilege of going to more than just Jerusalem while I was there. On the weekends, we went touring with some folks that had been there before and really knew the place. And ironically, the first place I wanted to go see, and I don't know what would be your first place if you decide to go there, but the first place I wanted to go see is the Eastern Gate. I started to talk about that today, but I didn't. But if you look into that, you'll recognize that it's been blocked up since the 1500s, but it was prophesied 500 years before that it was going to be blocked up. Didn't know by who. It turned out to be Suleiman, who led the takeover of the Temple Mount about 1500 something. But it's still blocked up to this day. So I wanted to see it because I someday will see it be unblocked, but only so that the King of Kings can walk through that gate. And that's not my talk either. But anyway, let me just start with a little introduction here of recent events over the last few years have brought to mind a previous Bible study that I did on this subject. I call it the Spirit of Amalek today. And we touched on it a little bit this week, but I hope to go into it a little bit more. But all the things that are going on in the world, including what's going on today, starting with the World Trade Center, or before that, but certainly starting with the World Trade Centers that were brought down by people that really hate this country. And then you think about Charlie Kirk, who just recently died through assassin's bullet, and 2 attempts on President Trump's life, and plenty of school shootings that still are occurring. And then it makes you want to wonder if there is a moral variable to all this. What causes people to want to do things like that? And so I like to start with Psalms 58. Just one verse. You don't have to turn there, but I'll read it for you. Psalms 58, verse 3 says this: "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. These who speak lies go astray from birth." That's hard to imagine, isn't it? But the Bible says that. So there's something that causes that. And I think we all know that it's interesting to note the connection with speaking lies in light of the Bible's description of Satan as the father of liars. And if you'll turn to John 8:44, if you want to, I'll read it. John 8:44 says this: "You are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks lies, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of them." And I know you all have heard those words before, and they occur in other places in the Bible. But Satan is involved in all this, I'm sure. And even if God controls and allows the random combination of DNA, is it possible that he can know what the character of a child will be before it's born? Certainly implies that. And sometimes you wonder, how children end up the way they do with good parents and everything else, and they still go astray. But, there's more to it, I think, than meets the eye. Let's look at Psalms 139, 13 through 16. Psalms 139, 13 through 16. Here's what it says. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet informed, yet unformed, and in your book they are all written. The days fashioned for me, when as yet there was none of them. And that's David talking. So David recognized that God was working in his life before he was born. My wife and I watched the story of Esther together not too long ago. And that's an interesting story. If you haven't, there's a couple of movies on it, and you can get just, pretty much the same thing by reading the Bible in the book of Esther. But anyway, in that book of the Bible, Saul, it tells about Saul and his failure to do what God told him to do. And if you think about it, I got a younger brother who's a good Baptist, and he thinks of the God of the Old Testament as the bad God and the God of the New Testament as the good God, so I don't know how he gets there, but we agreed not to talk about it too much. But anyway, let's look at 1 Samuel 15, 1 and 3. You don't have to turn there, but I'd like to read them. Samuel also said to Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore heed the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both men and women, infants and nursing child, ox and sheep and camels and donkeys. God told him to kill everybody in any contact with Amalek. Well, if you watch the movie or read the rest of that story, Saul did what he thought was right, but he was fearful of the people that if he did what God asked him to do, he's afraid, I guess, they would attack him. But anyway, he failed to do what God told him to do, and ultimately he lost his head over it. He ended up in a battle with what we refer to now as the Philistines, and he and his two sons died in that battle, and they cut their heads off and hung them on the wall of the city. And I actually got to go to that hell. Can't remember the name of it now, but where that all happened, when I was over in Israel. So it's and I